Well, it's getting cold in Los Angeles. Very cold sometimes. And I took a walk today. I had to take my car into the shop, and it wasn't too far, maybe about 5 blocks or something like that. So I walked back. It's been a while since I've gone on a walk, and normally I wouldn't anyway at this time of year, and certainly not with COVID going on. But it was an interesting experience, it really did seem like walking through a ghost town. I mean, I maybe saw one other soul on the whole walk, which, I live right in the middle of the city, so that's a bit odd. And I suppose at first I was a bit, not depressed, but the scene was definitely dystopic and post-apocalyptic indeed. And you saw all sorts of signs and placards with various COVID warnings. But as I continued, what I noticed more was how the homes, even in the heart of the city, how there was so much green at each home. Pretty much every house that had any outdoor space at all, the people were growing plants or letting plants grow. And even the ones that didn't have any outdoor space, which isn't uncommon in this city, you could see in all the windows all kinds of plants. And I noticed as well the wind chimes and all the whirligigs and baubles and trinkets that we hang around our homes. Little hanging crystalline structures, glass ornaments. And I felt for a minute like I was walking through a village, and then I was some person from millennia ago, tens of thousands of years ago, right? Living in the Amazon or something. And I was walking through my village, coming back, perhaps, from gathering something. And you see how, how we're a part of nature, how it's a human instinct. And more than that, a need, a drive, part of our genetic code. We can't help but want to bring life, not just decorations and things, but life and organic forms and things that look like life or make us think of life forms. People who don't have cats or dogs, almost everyone does in LA, but people who don't, you'll see little clay or porcelain cats and dogs and things in the yards, and it's fascinating, that even in this crumbling civilization, in this sometimes nightmarish and maddening year 2020, 2021, in this age in which we live, to see that on some fundamental level, human beings haven't actually changed that much. Most of us are trying just to live if we can, peaceful lives. The reason I bring this up is because I think that even in communities like the witchcraft community or various other occult communities or new age communities, a lot of the times I think even in these groups where you would expect to see the most shamanistic type thinking, you don't. You see people trying to get themselves money and jobs and relationships, which is completely understandable, and all those things are important. And I think in the better cases in these communities, you see people talking about the evolution of higher consciousness, raising the consciousness of the planet. And that's good. That's supremely good. But even still, I think that I know for my part, I tend, even when, and perhaps especially when I'm wrapping my head with all these kinds of ideas and terms, and people and communities, I forget where all of these things come from, and that all of these things, even the highest, most esoteric, farthest flung DMT-like spiritual experiences, or philosophies, or systems, or just ideas. I think sometimes what gets overlooked or lost sight of or underemphasized is the animal dignity of human beings. When you look at your cat walk across the room, or when you see a bird of paradise preening itself on a nature documentary, you're not tempted even for a moment to condemn their behavior or even to praise it. Words are unnecessary. You don't need to speculate or create lofty ideas about the nature of these beings. You can see clearly the nobility of their particular kind of creature. You can see clearly how naturally, organically, they have this animal dignity. And if we can find that in humanity, see that in humanity, especially in people who are not spiritually inclined, people who are not far out, people who know nothing of witchcraft, magic, and the occult, or of New Age philosophies or ways of thinking. People who have jobs that don't seem interesting to us. People who have flaws and entanglements in their lives that seem beneath us. We have to compel ourselves to see what should be obvious, which is the animal dignity of human beings. It's something they start with and don't have to earn. They don't have to have any particular sort of beliefs. And they certainly don't have to be a New Age type. So in this seemingly very troubled time, I try to remind myself how good it is to be alive, to be an animal on planet Earth, to be a living thing, and to be a human being. And against all odds, and perhaps even in the face of evidence to the contrary, I believe in human beings, and in our future, and I especially believe in ordinary people.